Good morning and welcome to this Wednesday edition of Locked On Astros. The Houston Astros crushed the Athletics in Sacramento. Jason Alexander, no, not that one from Seinfeld, stuns his former team. Let's talk about it. And Jake Myers, swing, improved. Let's go.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett Htown Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome into this Wednesday morning edition of Locked On Astros. If you're hearing me and you're like, wait, I'm used to going to work and listening to Locked On Astros, I do apologize because last night it was super late. And it was a great game, but I had no energy whatsoever. I wanted to give y'all a quality podcast. So right now, I want you to take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com/LockedOnMLB for 50% off your first year. Check it out. The Houston Astros score early and they score often. In this episode, we are going to be talking about a few different things. We're going to be talking about this offense needing to pick up a trend that we've been seeing lately. Also, we're going to talk about Jason Alexander. We're going to do a little bit of talk about Jake Myers and just so many more things that we can get into, especially Jake Myers' swing. And so thank you all for tuning in. Again, look, I'm here solo. You know where to find me, at Htown Wheelhouse. And I got to send a shout out because I had a fan reach out to me, a guy by the name of Lawrence Rincon. He is a graphic designer. And he created, and I have an Htown Wheelhouse logo. I don't show it a whole lot, but you see the H and the W, created by Ram Shirts. And then he sent me this polo with my logo on the hat and then gave me the Htown Wheelhouse on the sleeve. I mean, what in the heck? I mean, thank you so much, Mr. Rincon. I appreciate you, sir. And I'll be reaching out to you for some other questions about the stuff that you provide. But let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Alexander pitches his first outing with the Astros. It's solid. And yes, there are other storylines, Cam Smith, things like that. And before we get into that, the AOS standings you'll see will be crawling under the screen. The Astros are up by 4.5 games on the Mariners, and everybody else is lagging behind. Continuing momentum, winning these next 2 games, I think is important because then you go into Anaheim, where I believe the Angels have been a much better team as of late. They've won their last 2 games in a row. You've got a 3-game set with them as they finish up their 2 games versus the Yankees in the Bronx, where they actually won 4-0 yesterday. So you know that when you catch a team hot, it doesn't matter who they are. So the Astros have to keep the pedal to the metal for sure. Susan says we keep pulling pitchers out of the hat. That's right, from the Space Cowboys, from other teams. But Jason Alexander, let's look at this, okay? One of the things I would always point y'all to is Baseball Savant. It's an MLB website. At the end of each game, it shows win probability added leaders. And sometimes it's surprising, but there's different metrics that they use to gauge this. But the number one win probability added leader was Jason Alexander at 16.5 plus points. Then you had Jake Myers at 16 and Cam Smith at 11.1. Absolutely amazing. And no, look at this. Look at y'all bringing this in. The Astros are 11-4 this month. I think that's the best record in the major leagues by far. And so it is crazy. Look, a half game behind the 29 scoreless innings Yankees. Wow. Hey, we are climbing up the charts. Jason Alexander said yada, yada, yada to his previous organization. I love the Seinfeld nod, Michael, a young man, but an old soul there for sure. But what did he do? he produced 12 swings and misses in this game. Now, look, you're going to say, maybe not you, but people in general are going to say, but it's the Oakland Athletics. Of course he's going to have success. I don't know. I mean, yeah, they scored 3 runs a game before. 2 of them were from a walk-off. There was one measly run in the innings 1 through 9. But they've got some young hitters. They've got Blade. They've got Soderstrom. They've got Wilson. They've got Butler. They got Clark. They've got an offense that has the ability to sneak up on you, and they can't hit. They just don't have really much pitching to bewilder you. That's why it was so bewildering to have the Astros not score any runs in that first game. So, yes, it is the Oakland Athletics, but it's his former team. And somebody in the A's organization was like, gosh, dang it, are you serious? Like, how do we let this guy get away? Sometimes a change of scenery, sometimes it's the pitching coaches that do a phenomenal job. We know that the Rays are phenomenal at it. The Astros are right there behind them. We've seen them take pitchers and flip them into Cy Young candidates. Now, I'm not saying Jason Alexander is going to win a Cy Young. I'm not even saying Jason Alexander is going to be one of the top 10 pitchers in the major league. What I am saying is this is success to build upon. And in baseball, in a 162 game season, it is about building on individual successes over a long period of time. Okay. It's not about having to fast forward and project out. We're not trying to put him in the Hall of Fame, but you're right. Just like Keuchel, just like Dallas Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel was phenomenal and had that Cy Young year. But beyond that, there wasn't, he had his success in an Astros uniform, but when he left the organization, things kind of went away. I do think some of the sticky stuff ban had something to do with that. I think a lot of pitchers would be pitching even better if we had some sort of substance for them to grip the ball. But what a great first outing against his former team. And look, if it's a quote unquote minor league ballpark, which it is, the Athletics of Sacramento, or whatever you want to call them, they have just as much opportunity to hit the ball out of the yard as the Astros. And they just didn't do it because Jason Alexander came out and absolutely dealt. So what were his pitch mixes? He has a sinker. He has a changeup, a sweeper, and a four-seam fastball. A heavy reliance on the sinker, 42%. A heavy reliance on the changeup, 33%, and his sweeper he threw 16 times at 17%. Okay. He produced 9 whiffs on his changeup, 3 whiffs on his sinker. He didn't produce any whiffs on the sweeper or the fastball, but it's the sinker and the changeup. It's the spin rate. It's what are you doing for me lately? And this is what he absolutely does. He maxes spin rate out on 2165 on his sinker, 2758 on his sweeper. Look, if he can get that sweeper at a more effective rate, at a 20% rate, 25% rate, you've got a guy that's got a deadly combination of pitches for sure. I love what Lyndon says. We need to get Alcantara. He's having a terrible year, should be cheap, and we are good at reclamation projects. I love that. That would be great. The Athletics are a horrible team, TJ, and I get that. Tez, TJ, I'm going to call you TJ, okay? But here's the deal. And here's my problem with this before we go into our next segment. When we get beat, when the Astros get beat by the Athletics, okay? When they get beat by the Athletics, everybody's like, they're the Athletics. How can you let a team like that beat you? You should beat them. And then when the Astros pummel them, they're like, oh, but it's the Athletics. We should beat them. Like, that's not an accomplishment. I'm like, so which one is it? Can you, like, I'm sorry, there are some fans that you can't please. You beat them strong. You beat them bad. You drive them into the ground. You embarrass their You embarrass their families. You hit all these home runs off of them. But it's the A's. But then when you get beat by them, oh, it's the A's. Why can't you beat the A's? To me, it's kind of a maddening circle of nothingness. It's a circular argument. In our next segment, we're going to talk about the offense scoring early and often. I want to talk a little bit about Jake Meyers' swing because I think there is definitely improvement there that we need to pay attention to, and we'll talk about it next. You've heard me talk about Monarch Money. You've heard me talk about finances. And look, I know the feeling. I know you probably know the feeling. All of us do. When you go to the bank account and you see that there's not as much money as you thought, and you start looking through your ledger and you're like, oh my gosh, all the tickets, all the eating out, all the drinks, all this and that. Where did the money go? Well, right now, Monarch Money is offering you 50% off your first year with the code Locked On MLB. And why is it so important to do this? Because it's like having a personal CFO right there with full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. That's right, the all-in-one convenience is there. Instead of juggling multiple apps, use Monarch Money to check your finances, your spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever, and you can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's Monarch Money, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Take control. Feel the freedom today. That's right, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. You know me, I'm Htown Wheelhouse. Between myself and Eric Huysman, we have about 16 years podcasting experience. We have both written for major publications throughout our credentialed history, and we have been credentialed media members of both the Astros and the Space Cowboys at some point in our career. So thank you all for tuning in. Look, guys, super exciting stuff in the Astros world. You love to see them absolutely pummel the A's of Sacramento. But yesterday, let's look at this. Last night, in the wee hours of the night or the morning, whatever it was for you, Cam Smith right here, 22 years old, fourth youngest player in Astros history to have a 4-hit game with 2 home runs. There were only 3 to do it younger: Carlos Correa, Joe Morgan, Rusty Staub. That's company that you want to be a part of. That's company that you could write home about. That's company that your mama would be proud of. That is outstanding. Cam Smith, this kid has really been doing a phenomenal job at the plate. Last I checked, he was fifth amongst Major League Baseball rookies as far as average, so on and so forth. He's now batting .266, a .748 OPS, and absolutely doing a phenomenal job. He's trying to catch up to Jake Meyers. He wants to be the highest average hitting outfielder. He wants to be out there doing his thing, and I absolutely love the fact that the Astros went out there and they scored early. Now, you're going to say, probably TJ on here, it's the A's. It's JP Sears. But you know what? You know what the Astros don't do a lot of? They don't score a lot in the first inning. Okay? They scored 2 runs in the first inning. Now, they've scored, I think, 5 to 7 runs in the last 3 or 4 games in the first inning. And that is huge. That is one trend that needs to continue. A second trend that needs to continue is not just scoring early, but scoring throughout the game, or not just scoring late and waiting until the 7th or 8th inning. But look at this: the 2nd, the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, the 7th, and the 8th inning they scored. Now, in the 9th inning, I believe the Athletics had a position player pitching, and the Astros didn't get anything on him. So, no, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm not comparing trash to trash. I'm comparing the Houston Astros having an inability to score in the first inning no matter who they play. Now they are scoring in the first inning, and it doesn't matter who it's against, because it didn't matter who they faced, good or bad. They weren't putting up any runs in the first inning. They were making non-Cy Young pitchers like JP Sears look like Cy Young winners when they face them. You know, like Taj Bradley. Taj Bradley's not a Cy Young winner. He is better than Sears, but he's a guy that you should absolutely tee off on in the first inning. He's a guy that establishes early in the zone. You should be taking that ball yard. So I see that TJ is here to stir up, and hey, you know what? Playing devil's advocate at some point gets old. So let's move on to the always positive, always Stros part. What's funny is the other day on the channel, someone accused me of always being negative. Maybe it was on X, of never being a fan of the lineup or the team or whatever. And I'm like, whatever. You can have your take. Yeah. So TJ, that's the point. But the trend lately has changed. They are scoring more often early. I mean, that's a fact. If you're the facts are facts guy, then the facts are facts. You've got to take what you have. You can't take this, well, you know, but in the past. No, what are they doing now? They're scoring more early. And I don't care if it's against Justin Verlander. I don't care if it's against JP 2.0. I don't care who it is, right? This team has got to find a consistent place offensively. Yes, scoring 0 runs and 13 runs isn't going to cut it in the long run. But the way they did the 13 runs, the 5 home runs they did hit, the rookie going with 2 home runs and 4 at-bats and getting 4 hits, that's phenomenal. That is what you have to do, because we have seen, how many times have we seen pitchers that are subpar that look like Cy Young winners against this offense? We've seen it. And what is the one thing that we've seen a decline in over the years, even with losing Tucker, even with losing Bregman, is the inability to score runs. They score 3 runs or less more than they score 4 runs or more. So I expect the Astros, if they're going to get off this like back and forth topsy-turvy, I don't see how they can't score, maybe not double-digit runs 3 games in a row, but these next 2 games, I say they score 5 runs or more in these next 2 games. I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. So this team has been working on their swing, has been working on what they do at the plate. And if that trend continues, then guys like Christian Walker are going to get their due. I mean, Mauricio Dubon hit back-to-back home runs with Cam Smith. And I don't care if it's in Sacramento. I don't care if it's against the Athletics. Dubon doesn't hit home runs. But what did he do yesterday? He hit a home run. You have one camp that says Dubon should have every day at bats. You have another camp that says Dubon is terrible at the plate. He should never play a game. Guillorme out there. I'm like, why is Guillorme out here? His glove. He's making great defensive plays. I shut my mouth on that. I'm like, hey, play all you want, kid. Isaac Paredes comes back quicker than what we anticipated. That dude has dog in him. If you do an X-ray on his chest, you'll see a massive pit bull. That guy is a player. Isaac Paredes should be getting your all-star votes. Jeremy Pena should be getting your all-star votes. Jake Myers should be getting your all-star votes. Yes, reserve one of those 3 spots in the outfield for Jake Myers. I know there are probably other players that deserve it, but if there's one outfielder that deserves it, it's probably Jake Myers because of the way he's swinging the bat. Heck, Cam Smith, the way he's coming on, I wouldn't be upset if you gave him all-star votes. Jose Altuve, I don't know, but I think you have, for me, 4 sure all-stars. Pena, you have Isaac Paredes, you have Josh Hader, and you have Hunter Brown. Those are my 4 for sure all-stars, okay? And look, we had this discussion on Back to the Bullpen about it being kind of a popularity contest, and, you know, Yordan Alvarez is 4th. He shouldn't be 4th as DH. I love Yordan, but he hasn't garnered any kind of all-star prowess. That's a name recognition thing. And Astros fans, you can vote to your heart's content who you want to, okay? But at the end of the day, I try to be as objective as possible on my all-star ballot, but I will squeak in an extra Astros player and give him his flowers if I feel like he deserves it. Baseballs travel higher and, oh, really? TJ, oh my gosh. Thank you for that, sir. I had no idea that baseball's traveled further in higher altitudes. Thank you for that lesson in physics. Well, now that we got the physics lesson, we're going to work on going to what we need to see trending more and what we have to look forward to in the next couple games here next on Locked On Astros. Look, Trade Coffee is not just any coffee. Trade Coffee is the best coffee. And now you can get 50% off your 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. Let's be real. Coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It's a lifeline. It's a thing that gets you from half asleep to fully functioning. And it's that essential. Why settle for anything less than amazing? That's where Trade Coffee comes in. Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the U.S., delivering fresh, incredible coffee from over 50 of the country's top roasters. Whether you're a cold brew fan or a pour-over purist, they've got a roast you'll love. And look, I took the quiz. It was easy. It asked me about taste and smell, and what I got and what I have is absolutely amazing. It's fresh. Its aroma is decadent. I mean, my son doesn't drink coffee, but every time I break out that coffee bag from the fridge and I open it up, he's like, Dad, that smells really good. I'm like, it's never too early, but we're not trying to get him started on coffee at too young of an age. I love that their price is comparable to grocery store brands, but the flavor is on a whole different level. And honestly, the quality is on a whole different level. Like, you can compare if you want to, but it's like comparing apples and oranges. So right now, Trade is exclusively offering our customers 50% off your 1-month trial at drinkabletrade.com/lockedonmlb. That's TRADE.com/lockedonmlb for 50% off your 1-month trial. drinktrade.com/lockedonmlb. Go there today. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. You know where to find me. You know that I'm Htown Wheelhouse. Eric, the man Huysman, is out in Nebraska. I almost said the mountains of Nebraska, but it's just flat out there, okay? He's out there working. He started a new career, y'all. Eric is working he's working in a whole different industry. He left teaching, which, it's funny. I've been teaching for 12 years and I'm kind of jealous because I love doing new things. But listen, if I could tell you, look up Wheelhouse Media Group. Look up Wheelhouse Media Company on YouTube. Check us out. We got all things Houston Astros, Houston sports. We would love to have you come follow us. July 10th, we're having a ribbon cutting ceremony in Pearland, Texas, right in front of Shadow Creek High School. I'll get more details out about that, personal details. Right here, Chris Reyes says, I just need the Astros to score half of what they did yesterday for Valdez tonight. That's all I ask. Look, 5-6 runs, I think they're good. Valdez is going to go on the mound, and he's going to absolutely shine. Susan Townsend says, I was raised on football, but I love baseball because no matter the matchup, anything can happen. You're right about that. So, look, what is going on? Jake Myers is continuing to hit the ball. Jake Myers is looking great at the plate. Jake Myers is not falling off. I mean, it's June 18th, and he's still hitting, folks. And I don't care what you say about who we played. 5 home runs, 15 hits, 13 runs. How many times have you seen this team hit the ball 7, 8, 9 times? Like in game 1, they had 7 hits. You know how many runs they put up? 0, a goose egg, okay? And that was against the Athletics. And some of y'all, they scored 13 runs. It's the Athletics. Well, they didn't. Okay? Oh, actually, Michael, he's not near Omaha. He's actually 3 hours from Omaha, so he doesn't get to experience the College World Series vibes. He said, unfortunately, he's way out, and he said he's not driving 3 hours to go watch some college baseball. But, I probably wouldn't either. But looking at Jake Myers right now, hitting 294, guys and girls. If you look at his splits, okay, what he's doing in June, he's hitting 300. In May, he was at 327. So people would say, oh, look, he's already in a regression. Well, you know what? He's still got that OPS at 746 right now this month. Last month was 879. He still has time to make it happen. He isn't hitting as many RBIs, but he's getting on base. He is scoring runs. So you absolutely love to see that. He's still way over what he did in April and March. So his May and June have been phenomenal. And his, someone said to me, it's because when Jake Myers, he basically had one swing plane. And if he swung in that swing plane and that ball wasn't there, he wasn't getting a hit. He just wasn't getting a hit. Now he's making adjustments in his at-bats. He's hitting the ball through the middle of the infield as a grounder, getting RBIs. He's hitting the ball to different parts of the ballpark. He's barreling up stuff. He is getting on base, and that is what's key. You have to build on small successes throughout the season because you continue to have Yordan Alvarez out. You continue to have hand injuries with DeCenzo being out, with Melton now out with the ankle. I mean, you have guys offensively speaking that are not available. So the guys that are available, they have to be successful. Then the more success you have, the more confidence you gain. And the more confidence you gain, it doesn't matter if you face an Ohtani. It doesn't matter if you face Carlos Rondon. It doesn't matter if you face Tarik Skubal. You have that confidence. You've had success. So success builds on success. In a game where the foundational word is failure. It's not about the failure, though. What do you do with that failure? How do you excel? How do you persevere? How do you overcome? And what do you do? If it's against games like the Athletics and scoring early and scoring often, and when you get 15 hits and you have 13 runs, you build on that. You say, this is us. The team looks at each other in the clubhouse. This is who we are. That 3-0 loss, where we had 7 hits and no runs, that's the team we trying to get away from. This is the team we're trying to be. Mauricio Dubon going back-to-back, like no one had that on their bingo card. Did you have Cam Smith hitting 2 home runs and getting 4 hits? Probably not. Christian Walker hitting a home run. Look, this guy needs to build his confidence. This guy needs to build on success because he continues to actually trend upward. Where he's still getting a lot of hate. People are like, he was a waste. I can't believe another horrible signing at first base. What are we doing? Okay. But if you look at where he is, where he's been, just hitting the ball a lot better. He's hitting 241 in June, 743. That's his highest OPS. He has 3 home runs in June. He only had 3 home runs in May. He already has 3 home runs this month, and it's only June 18th. This is a guy that you want hitting. And what did we talk about earlier? His home and road splits are horrible. He's hitting 254 at home, 177 on the road, and he actually got a home run while when? On the road. He now has 4 home runs away. When you are evaluating a team, you cannot take a single month or 30 games. Or like you have to look at everything. You have to look at everything. All right, Emilio, thank you for stopping in on your break. We appreciate you. Go Astronauts. I love that. To the moon, right? To the moon. And John, thank you. He is way better than Jose Abreu. I'm not even going to get into that because that is still one of the most maddening things that I've ever seen. Darn, watching garage sale videos. Go Stros. What? You're watching garage sale videos? Well, that's why I came on live this morning, to save you from those horrible garage sale videos. Now, if I made a garage sale video, would you watch it? Would you watch a garage sale video of me garage selling? I don't know. That's kind of like, I hate garage sales. I don't even go. Like, I don't care what Gary Vee says about garage sales. I ain't going. I'm not going to go try to find some plush South Park doll edition where like I buy it for $8 and I flip it for $3.50 on FeeBay because FeeBay charges an arm and a leg. Anyways, I digress. But y'all, this has been great. We talked about Jake Myers changing his swing plane, having an adjustable swing. We talked about how this team, if they can get consistent scoring early and scoring often, will be a whole different team. We know that if this team can get double-digit hits with double-digit runs, or they can get their hits and runs to match each other, that they will be more and more successful. Oh, yeah, you can find all kinds of Astros bobbleheads garage selling. I just don't like going. I just don't like trying to find them. Maybe I could pay someone to go garage selling for me. But anyways, look, thank y'all for tuning in this morning. I know we didn't have as large of a crowd as we normally have because a lot of our listeners are working, and we're all thankful for work, right? So thank you so much for tuning in to Locked On Astros. From myself, from Eric, the man Huysman, my partner in crime, and everybody here at Locked On Astros, we appreciate y'all. And look, just realize that we are still in the golden era of baseball. Yep, that's right. I said it. And you can find me at Htown Wheelhouse. Throw me all the hate you want. It doesn't matter. Why? Because I'm always positive, always Stros. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.